Alfredo Despaigne Rodríguez was born on June 17, 1986, in Santiago de Cuba, one of the country's most passionate baseball cities. Raised in a sporting environment, Despaigne was naturally drawn to baseball, a sport that dominates Cuban culture. His early exposure to the game, alongside his natural athleticism, set him on a path toward a career that would make him one of Cuba's most iconic players. Despaigne's passion for baseball was evident from a young age. He began playing the sport in his hometown, showing early signs of his incredible power and natural ability to hit. His first major success came when he joined the Santiago de Cuba youth baseball system, where he was noticed for his raw talent. As a teenager, his physicality and hitting ability made him stand out among his peers, catching the attention of national scouts. He quickly rose through the ranks, earning a spot on the Cuban national junior team, which allowed him to showcase his abilities on an international stage. By the time Despaigne was in his late teens, it was clear that he was a rising star in Cuban baseball, with scouts from professional teams taking note of his extraordinary potential. Cuban National Series debut and early career. Despaigne made his professional debut in the Cuban National Series, CNS, in 2006, at the age of 20. He began his career with Santiago de Cuba, the team that would become synonymous with his name throughout his career. From the outset, Despaigne displayed a combination of raw power and impressive hitting mechanics, quickly becoming one of the most exciting young talents in Cuban baseball. During his first few seasons in the CNS, Despaigne's power-hitting abilities began to emerge as one of his defining characteristics. His monstrous home runs, coupled with his ability to hit for average, made him a constant threat at the plate. It wasn't long before he started turning heads with his performances in both regular season games and postseason play. One of his early milestones came in 2007, when Despaigne won the Cuban National Series Home Run Derby, further solidifying his reputation as a player with immense power. His ability to crush the ball was becoming his signature trait, and he was quickly earning a reputation as one of the most feared hitters in the league. Over the next few years, Despaigne continued to dominate the Cuban National Series, posting impressive statistics year after year. Career peak and domination in Cuban baseball. The peak of Alfredo Despaigne's career came in the 2010s, when he became one of the most dominant and recognizable figures in Cuban baseball. His hitting abilities reached new heights, and his consistency at the plate made him a perennial MVP candidate. Despaigne's performances in the Cuban National Series cemented his place as one of the league's all-time greats. In 2010, Despaigne had a breakout season, finishing the year with a .355 batting average, 28 home runs, and 92 RBIs. His offensive explosion that season was one of the most impressive in the history of the league, and he quickly became the centerpiece of Santiago de Cuba's lineup. Despaigne's ability to drive in runs and his power at the plate made him one of the most feared hitters in Cuban baseball. He finished as the league's home run leader and earned recognition as the Cuban National Series MVP for his contributions to his team's success. His success continued throughout the 2010s. In 2012, Despaigne put together another standout season, posting a .338 batting average with 31 home runs and 98 RBIs, once again leading the league in several offensive categories. He earned his place in the Cuban National Series All-Star team multiple times during this period, further solidifying his reputation as one of the most consistent and powerful hitters in the league. Despaigne's consistent excellence continued in 2013, where he hit an astounding .352 batting average with 35 home runs and 104 RBIs, leading Santiago de Cuba to the Cuban National Series title. His leadership both on and off the field made him the face of the team, and his ability to perform in crucial moments helped secure his team's success. Despaigne was not only a power hitter but also an accomplished leader in the clubhouse, earning the respect of his teammates and coaches alike. During this period, Despaigne earned numerous accolades, including multiple MVP awards, several All-Star selections, and the prestigious home run crown on multiple occasions. His power, consistency, and ability to drive in runs made him one of the most feared hitters in the history of Cuban baseball. International success and impact. Despaigne's talents were not confined to the Cuban National Series. His performances on the international stage helped solidify his place among the best players in the world. Despaigne was an integral part of the Cuban national team, representing his country in various international tournaments, including the World Baseball Classic, WBC, and the Pan American Games. In 2009, Despaigne was selected to represent Cuba in the World Baseball Classic, one of the most prestigious international baseball tournaments. Although Cuba finished in second place, Despaigne's performance was impressive, showcasing his ability to compete with some of the best players from around the world. He continued to represent Cuba in subsequent WBC tournaments and helped his team achieve notable finishes, though Cuba did not capture a championship during his tenure. Despaigne's success in international tournaments was further highlighted by his key role in Cuba's victory at the 2011 Pan American Games. His power and leadership played a crucial role in Cuba's success, and his performances on the international stage helped elevate his status as one of the top players in the world. His contributions to Cuban baseball were celebrated both at home and abroad, making him one of the most respected players in the global baseball community. Moved to Japan and continued success. In 2014, Alfredo Despaigne made the decision to leave Cuba and pursue a career in professional baseball outside of the country. His move to Japan marked the next chapter in his career, where he joined the Chiba Lotta Marines in Japan's Nippon Professional Baseball (NPB) league. His transition to Japanese baseball was a major step in his career, as he sought to challenge himself against some of the best pitchers in the world. Despaigne's first season in Japan was a success, as he quickly adapted to the style of play in the NPB. In his debut season with the Marines, he posted a solid .273 batting average with 22 home runs and 75 RBIs, proving that his power game was still intact even against the best pitchers in the world. His arrival in Japan marked the beginning of a new phase in his career, where he continued to showcase his power-hitting abilities while adjusting to the unique challenges of playing in a different baseball culture. Despaigne continued to play for the Chiba Lotta Marines until 2017, further establishing himself as one of the league's top hitters. His consistency in the NPB, coupled with his leadership and power, helped the Marines remain competitive in the league. His final season in Japan saw him post solid offensive numbers, though it was clear that he was beginning to wind down his career in the competitive NPB. Final years and retirement. By the late 2010s, Alfredo Despaigne's career began to slow down due to age and the toll of years of professional baseball. In 2018, after spending 4 seasons in Japan, Despaigne returned to Cuba, where he continued to play in the Cuban National Series. While his batting numbers had slightly declined from his peak years, Despaigne was still a productive and powerful hitter. Despaigne's final years were marked by his transition into a leadership role, where he mentored younger players in Cuba's baseball system. He retired from professional baseball in 2020, closing the chapter on a storied career that included years of dominance in Cuba's National Series and a successful stint in Japan's NPB. Though his final years were less impactful than his peak years, his legacy in Cuban baseball remained secure, and he left a lasting impact on the sport both in Cuba and internationally.